everyone, and welcome to another edition of Easy Eats. Today we're going to be making a classic mother sauce, a Béchamel, which is a white cream sauce that we are then going to turn into a delicious creamy cheese sauce, and then we're going to turn that into mac and cheese. Before we get started, please remember, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, pull your hair up, and if you can social distance, wear a mask. We'll see you in a moment. So Béchamel is going to be a mother sauce that you'll be learning about in the next few videos that we talk about. There's 5 mother sauces, and this one here uses something called a roux. A roux is made with butter and flour. So we are going to be mixing salted butter, 4 tablespoons, with flour to make a paste. We're then going to add 2 cups of cold milk, and we're going to whisk this together until it becomes a thicker consistency. After that, we're going to add a little bit of salt, a tiny bit of nutmeg, and to that we're going to whisk in our cheese, and that fast you can make a homemade cheesy creamy cheese sauce. To start, we are going to get a medium sauce pot, and we put our butter right in the bottom. You're going to want to whisk for this, and you're just going to want all-purpose flour. We're going to do 1/3 of a cup at a time until we get that nice thick roux. We're going to turn our heat on here to about a medium high, and we're going to let the butter melt. A roux is what we call a thickening agent. If you've ever had cheddar broccoli soup, if you've ever had New England clam chowder, if you've ever had any type of soup that's a cream-based soup, there's a roux in it. A lot of times when you make things like gravy, that's also done too. Quickly the butter is going to start melting because it is on medium heat. We're just going to kind of move it around so it coats the whole bottom of the pan. And once this butter is almost completely melted, we're going to start adding our flour in. This will take about a minute or 2 to get the butter to completely melt. See you in just a moment. So don't forget, make sure your handle of course is in. We don't want to be bumping into it with our body. We're whisking and our butter's pretty much melted. We're going to add in 1/3 of a cup of flour, and we're going to whisk. You could use a spoon for this, but eventually you are going to need a whisk to get out these lumps. So why not just use a whisk to start? We're going to mix this in here, and we're making something called a blonde roux. And you might be saying, Chef, what is a blonde roux? It's blonde in color. It has that nice light yellow look to it. You can make a darker roux too, or a brown roux by cooking this a little bit longer. And you're going to see very quickly, here's our roux. It's a thick paste. Now we're going to slowly add in 2 cups of milk. We're going to add it a little bit at a time, whisking in and making sure that the roux completely and totally dissolves. It's not going to dissolve the first time, but we're going to keep on cooking it. The key is not to overly cook the milk. We're not trying to bubble the milk. We're not trying to boil it. We're just trying to incorporate or mix this roux into it to make this thick cheese sauce. It might splatter a little bit, that's okay. If you feel like this is cooking, you can remove this from the heat. Of course, turn off the flame or turn off your stove before doing that. You don't want anyone to bump up into it and burn themselves. But don't be scared to remove this from the heat if you need to. And again, we're just whisking. Whisking, 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 making sure that this is in here all the way. If you've ever had a cream soup, and you go and you feel this little bubble burst in your mouth and you're like, ugh, what is that? Why is there flour in my mouth? That's because the roux was not mixed all the way. So you really want to make sure that all of that flour is gone. We're slowly going to pour. You also want to make sure that your pan or pot is staying flat on the surface. You never want to tilt this. You might feel like you need to because it might feel a little awkward to just be standing over it and whisking. But once you do that, you're not having an even cooking surface, and therefore you'll actually end up with an even lumpier bechamel. We're going to add a tiny bit of nutmeg. Nutmeg gives it a warm flavor. We're not adding sugar. We just want the sweetness and the warmth of the milk to really get pulled out. And we're also going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. Of course, you could add a little bit more if you need to, but we're adding cheese to this, so we don't want it to be too salty. That's not fun. And of course, now you have this beautiful cream base. To make this a bechamel, you would let this thicken up a little bit longer, but we're gonna thicken it right now with our cheese. In about a minute, we'll be right back. So now you see it's been a minute later, and we have this nice thick white cream sauce. But we want cheese sauce for mac and cheese. We are going to add in 3/4 cup each of cheddar, Monterey Jack, and mozzarella. What I want you to know is you can add whatever cheese you want that you like. You might say, I love cheddar, don't give me the other stuff. Okay, we're gonna lower heat just a little bit here. You don't like cheddar at all, maybe you're just a Monterey Jack girl, a Colby Jack girl. Maybe you like a little bit of spice, so you wanna add a spicy pepper jack. Whatever you like, this is your sauce to make. The other thing I would like you to remember is we're making a mac and cheese sauce, but you're gonna see it almost looks like nacho cheese sauce. You wanna add different cheeses, you can make different cheese sauces. And you're gonna see how thick this got, right? Very creamy. Make sure you're really working those muscles. We're gonna have you work those muscles before we feed you this heavy pasta dish. Going around the edges. And ta-da, this beautiful, thick, heavy cream sauce. We're gonna add pasta to this in just a moment. If you got this cheese sauce in one of your Easy Eats kits, you are going to wanna warm it in the microwave for about 30 seconds at a time. Add a tiny bit of milk into it, and just kind of move it around until it gets nice and thick and creamy. We will see you in just a moment. Our cheese sauce is all done. We've cooked some pasta and put it in a bowl here. And now, using our pot holder, we're going to remove the pot from the oven, or the stovetop. We did already turn off our burner. This is a safe surface for me to put this on here. And now, it's right on here. You can see we still have this yummy cheese sauce. Wait till you see how simple it is to go from plain pasta to mac and cheese. We're gonna add a big scoop of this in here. Now, if you want a little bit more of a bite, you could add a little bit of pepper in here. But if you want it to be more of a creamy, cheesy pasta, you can leave it right as is. And you're just gonna wanna mix it, right? Now, this is a thick cheese sauce, so you really have to work it in here. You're gonna add a little bit more. And as you see, it has that nacho cheese consistency. If you want to make nacho cheese instead of mac and cheese, instead of a cream sauce like this, go get some shredded cheddar, some Monterey Jack, give it a little bit of spice in there, melt this down, put it in a little bowl, dip your chips right in there. And as you can see, just like that, you can bake this or serve this just as it is. If you're getting one of our Heat and Eat kits, your mac and cheese has been baked in the oven at 350 for 22 minutes. To bake it, you're going to take this out of your bowl, put it in a pan, spread it out just so it evenly cooks in the oven, again at 350 degrees. You can top this with more cheese, even breadcrumbs. Some people like to take crackers and put it on top. 350, 22 minutes. Make sure you use a pot holder to pull it out of the oven, let it cool for about 2 or 3 minutes. You'll have a full meal, or you can serve it as is. It's a delicious side to any dinner. So good. And homemade. It's no preservatives. There's nothing that came in a box. You made this all at home. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Easy Eats for Everyone. We look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget, with Easy Eats, cooking should be fun and easy for everyone.